Every weapon used by the United States in World War II tells a story of mass production, fast learning, and brutal close combat. From simple rifles to heavy machine guns and flamethrowers, this video explains the main U.S. weapons that fought across Europe, Africa, and the Pacific. We begin with rifles and carbines. The M1 Garand was the standard U.S. infantry rifle of the war. It was a semi-automatic rifle that fired 8 rounds quickly without using a bolt. Reliable and powerful, it gave American soldiers faster fire than most enemies. The M1 Carbine was designed for support troops like radio operators and officers. It was lighter and shorter than the Garand, making it easy to carry. Its smaller round had less power, but the weapon was handy and fast. The M1A1 Paratrooper Carbine was a special version made for airborne troops. It had a folding stock so it could be worn during jumps. Once on the ground, it gave paratroopers quick fire in close fights. The M1903 Springfield was a bolt-action rifle carried over from World War I. It was very accurate and strong. Although slower than the Garand, it stayed in service for training and special roles. The M1903A4 Springfield sniper rifle was a scoped version of the standard Springfield. Used by snipers, it allowed precise shots at long range. It lacked iron sights, so it depended fully on the scope. The M1917 Enfield was another bolt-action rifle from the earlier war. It was heavy but very tough. During World War II, it was used mostly for training and guard duty. Next, Submachine Guns. The Thompson M1928A1, often called the Tommy gun, was famous for its looks and power. Firing 45 caliber rounds, it was deadly at close range. It was heavy and costly to make. The Thompson M1A1 was a simpler wartime version of the Tommy gun. Many fine parts were removed to speed up production. It kept the same stopping power but was still heavy. The M3 submachine gun, nicknamed the Grease Gun, was cheap and easy to build. Made from stamped metal, it fired slowly and was easy to control. Soldiers liked its light weight, but it felt flimsy. The Rising M50 was mainly used by the Marine Corps early in the war. It was accurate, but very sensitive to dirt and sand. In jungle fighting, it often jammed. Next, personal side equipment. The M1911A1 was the primary personal item carried by U.S. forces. It used a large .45 cartridge that was known for strong impact. Simple and durable, it was commonly used by ground troops, naval crews, and air personnel. The Smith & Wesson Victory model was a rotating cylinder side device that used .38 caliber cartridges. It was commonly assigned to air crews and naval units. It was dependable, though less forceful than the M1911. The Colt M1917 was another rotating cylinder design that used 45 cartridges with metal clips. It was large and heavy, but very sturdy. It was mainly used when standard side equipment was not available. The High Standard HDM was a small, .22 caliber device fitted with a sound-reducing attachment. It was used by specialized units for quiet operations and disruption tasks. It was low in power, but very discreet. The FP-45 Liberator was a basic single-use design made with minimal materials. It was intended for resistance groups. Its main purpose was to help users obtain better equipment through opportunity. Next, automatic support equipment. The M1918, a 2 Browning automatic rifle, often called the BAR, provided infantry units with sustained support capability. It used full-size cartridges and allowed different operation settings. Its magazine capacity was limited, which restricted long periods of continuous use. The M1919A4 Browning was the main medium machine gun. Air-cooled and belt-fed, it was used on tripods and vehicles. It was accurate and dependable. The M1919 A6 was a modified version meant to be carried by troops. It had a stock and a bipod. While useful, it was heavy and awkward to move. The M1917 Browning was a water-cooled machine gun. It could fire for long periods without overheating. It was excellent for defense, but very heavy. The M2 50 caliber Browning was a heavy machine gun used everywhere. It could destroy vehicles, aircraft, and cover. Its power and reliability made it legendary. Next, shotguns. The Winchester Model 1897 trench gun was used in close fighting. Its pump action allowed rapid fire. It was feared in trenches and jungle combat. The Winchester Model 12 was a newer shotgun design. It was smooth, strong, and reliable. Many Marines used it in the Pacific. The Ithaca 37 had a bottom eject design that kept dirt out. It worked well in harsh conditions. Both left and right-handed troops liked it. The Stevens 520 shotgun was sturdy and simple, often used for guard duty. It also saw combat. Its design dates back before the war. Next, anti-tank and support weapons. The M1A1 bazooka was a shoulder-fired rocket launcher. It gave infantry a way to fight tanks. Early versions struggled against thick armor, but were still effective. The M18 recoilless rifle fired large shells with little recoil. Introduced late in the war, it could hit bunkers and vehicles. Back blast made it dangerous to use carelessly. The M3 37mm anti-tank gun was small and light. Early in the war, it could stop light tanks. Later, it was weak against heavy armor but useful in the Pacific. The M157mm anti-tank gun was more powerful. Based on a British design, it could defeat many German tanks. It required a trained crew to move and operate. The M7 rifle grenade launcher is attached to the M1 Garand. It fired grenades using blank rounds. It gave the infantry indirect fire support. Next, explosives and demolition tools. The Mach 2 fragmentation grenade, called the pineapple grenade, was standard issue. Its metal body broke into fragments. It was used to clear rooms and trenches. The M15 white phosphorus grenade produced thick smoke and fire. It was used for signaling and flushing enemies from cover. The burning material was very dangerous. The M1 anti-tank mine was buried to stop enemy vehicles. Activated by pressure, it damaged tracks and wheels. Mine slowed advances and protected positions. The Bangalore torpedo was a tube filled with explosives. Soldiers pushed it under barbed wire. When detonated, it cleared paths for attacks. The TNT satchel charge was a bag filled with explosives. It was thrown into bunkers or buildings, simple but very powerful. Next, knives and bayonets. The M3 combat knife was issued when bayonets became less useful. It was designed for close combat and utility tasks. Its blade was narrow and sharp. The USMC Kabar fighting knife became famous with Marines. It was strong enough for work and combat. Many soldiers carried it daily. The M1 Garand bayonet was attached to the rifle. Early versions were very long and later shortened. It remained useful in final assaults. The M1917 Enfield bayonet was long and sword-like. It fits trench shotguns well. Many were reused during the war. The M1918 Mark I trench knife had brass knuckles and a spike pommel. It was meant for brutal close combat. Its design came from the First World War. Next, mortars and flamethrowers. The M2 60mm mortar gave infantry indirect fire. It was light and portable. Crews used it to hit enemies behind cover. The M1 81mm mortar had a longer range and more power. It could break up enemy attacks. It required a trained team to operate. The M2 flamethrower was used heavily in the Pacific. It sprayed burning fuel into caves and bunkers. It was feared but dangerous for the operator. The M1A1 flamethrower improved reliability. It had better fuel flow and ignition. Still, flamethrower troops faced great risk. U.S. weapons in World War II focused on reliability, firepower, and mass production. From rifles to flamethrowers, these tools helped American forces fight across every battlefield and played a major role in Allied victory.